Hello. Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Diana the Happy Lawyer. Yes, what is the theme music? I don't know yet. I'm still waiting for somebody to give me theme music for Diana the Happy Lawyer. But whatever you like, just sing along. Diana the Happy Lawyer. So, hi Linda. I saw you kayaking. I'm so excited. I was waiting for David to fall in. But he didn't. He was standing up in the kayak, the one thing you're not supposed to do. And he didn't fall in. So I'm sorry I missed it. But instead I was watching the Saints game, which was heartbreaking. Drew Brees hurt his thumb. So this is actually the first weekend I am doing the Happy Lawyer while football season is on. So it's very interesting because I was so involved in the game, I almost forgot that I had to come on. So, yes, so I'm back in my home. I'm not set up yet back to where my normal studio is, but, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Last week I talked about, if you knew that tomorrow was your last day on the planet, what would you do? And who would you call and where would you go? And I hope that some of you thought about that because it's a real thing. It's a real thing that people don't, Then we had 9/11 this week, which was a reminder that nothing is guaranteed in life, and you want to make sure that you're, kissing your family, hugging your dogs, cats, and doing whatever. And Wayne Dyer has a great saying, and he actually wrote a book called "Don't Die with Your Music Still in You." So if you got music to sing or something else to do, you feel inside you is your passion, go ahead and get it out there. And that kind of leads us into tonight's lesson, which is I've had a busy week and a busy weekend, so my brain is rebooting still. Tonight's lesson is, what is your passion? And if you have a dream or a goal that you're trying to go for, just start now with what you know and what you have and what you can do now. Don't put it off anymore. And I'm guilty of this too. I put stuff off all the time that I should be doing for my passion. But you know what? I also do what I can do, what I'm able to do. I, love the dogs, and I'm trying to get the dog sanctuaries going. That's my passion. And I'm involved in the dog rescue group here in Long Beach and wherever. And I donate to cat rescue and whatever I can do as far as that goes. But actively being involved with trying to find animals' homes and that type of thing. Hi, Annette. How you doing? So you have to do whatever you can right now. Just start now and to do what your passion is. And if you don't know what your passion is, try different things. It doesn't have to be the first thing that you do that, okay, I thought this was my passion. I thought my passion was gardening. And then when I get out there and I'm starting to dig in the hot sun, I hate it. So if that's not it, then move on to something else. If you thought your passion was cooking and then you got into the kitchen and it was hot as hell and you couldn't stand being in the oven and you didn't want to have to clean up the dishes when you were done, and you don't have a chef's kitchen where somebody else is doing your dishes for you. If that's not it, then move on to something else. It's okay. It's okay if you try different things to see what your passion is. Linda, I don't know if your passion has become kayaking, because I know you're kayaking now. And I love kayaking. I really missed it this weekend. But as we know, I unexpectedly went to San Gennaro Feast last night, which was so much fun. I have to tell you, New York City is one of my big passions. I love going there. Being born in New York is such a blessing because we have so much stuff here. It's really amazing. So if you have a goal or you have a dream and you know what it is, start working on it now. If you don't know what your goal or your dream is, do different things and see what feels the best. See what feels like you're not working. That's what they say. When you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So if there's stuff that you're thinking about, I also have a big passion for real estate. Annette knows that. And, I can't even get to all my passions. I'm trying to do a little bit here and a little bit there. And it's not it's not always easy because there is a lot of stuff to do in your regular life that you have to attend to. But try and make time. I mean, I've been definitely making time now for meditation, which sounds like almost like a waste of time because you're sitting there doing nothing for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But the truth is, when you let your brain relax for that amount of time, it really clears up your thinking and calms you down so that if you're having trouble focusing, that you have better focus. Meditation leads to better focus. So if you're having difficulty focusing on something that you need to do, or focusing on what you want to do, what you think you should be doing in life, what's missing in your life, meditation will help you to get to make space in your brain so that the calmness comes in and you can calmly think about stuff. Because let's face it, our brains are going a million miles an hour all the time. I can't even, when I wake up, it's like, well, what do I do first? Do I meditate first? Do I exercise first? Do I walk on the beach first? Do I have a cup of coffee first? And they say you shouldn't drink coffee first thing in the morning. You should drink water. So I want to go for the coffee. I want to go for the coffee first. But then my brain goes, no, drink the water first. That's what you're supposed to do. So I drink a little water. I grab a little coffee. I start meditating. Sometimes I decide to just walk on the beach first because if I see the sun coming up and it's beautiful, I might just get out there and I sometimes just sit on the beach and meditate. So I've been definitely getting into that more regularly because it helps to do the next thing, which is just feeling what you want to do in your life, what you should be doing. So then after that, the problem sometimes becomes procrastination. We put off what we should be doing. I'm supposed to be writing a seminar. Fortunately, last night I saw a friend of mine, Jeff, and he reminded me to get on it, the seminar. and he's right. There's no reason I should not be doing it. So why am I not doing it? Why don't we do the things that we think we should be doing, that we like, that are our passions, like whatever? Sometimes we think we're not good enough. Sometimes we think, you know what, it's not going to be that good. What if it's not that good? What if people don't like it? What if people laugh at me? What if people, make fun of me? Or what if people just start out by saying, you can't do that? Who do you think you are, writing a seminar for people, trying to help people to, have happier feelings, or trying to get in touch with their own desires and passions and goals? Who am I? I'm a nobody. But you know what? I can still be a nobody, and I can still do what I want to do. I've been listening to Les Brown a lot lately, and he's really inspiring me. And he says, you know what? Go out and do it. You don't have to be as good as everybody else. I don't have to be as good as Tony Robbins right now. And you know what? Tony Robbins didn't start out great either. He started out, though. He just started out. I have a really old video of Tony Robbins. It looks like he's in a basement talking to salespeople about how to make sales. I mean, it wasn't even really about life coaching at that point. And he just did what he could. He just got some people together. And the reason why it looks like he's in a basement is because, he's like so tall, and the ceiling of the room is like right at his head. And he's standing in front of this whiteboard, and he's so big that it looks like he's in a very small room. And it's just folding chairs. It's not a big deal. Now he doesn't even go anywhere practically. He stays in Fiji, and people go to him. And he just started with what he knew. He knew how to do sales because he learned it from Jim Rohn, another big inspiration, and you should definitely be listening to him. And he learned it from Jim Rohn, and he took what he knew, what he was able to do, and he just started out. So you just got to start out with whatever you know, and then you build from there. Because let's face it, if I do this seminar and it's the best seminar that I can do, then I'm in pretty bad shape because I can't get any better. So the first one I'm going to do is not going to be the best. Just like the first trial that I ever did as a lawyer wasn't the best trial, or the best deposition, or the best whatever. So these things are always going to be something that you have to try it. Les Brown, again, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So here's the thing. Let's say you want to write a book. A lot of people want to write a book, or write something. And you don't even have to write a whole book these days. You could just write little chapters. So here, this is what you need. This is what you need to get started. Pen and paper. That's it. Everybody has this in their house. You have this in your house. You have a pen and a paper, and you can start writing. So you start with what you have. Just start writing the names of chapters. Just start writing ideas. And, don't sit down on the weekend and say, okay, I'm going to write my book this weekend. Because unless you're Grant Cardone, who writes books in a weekend, you're not going to write it in the weekends. It might take a year, but you have to get started on it. So think about write down topics. Write what you know about. If you know about, raising children, even if you have funny stories, you could write a comedy book about raising children. I'm sure both of you ladies, Annette and Linda, probably have some very funny stories about, raising children, funny things that happen. So even if you just started writing that stuff down, and you know what? You could just type it. We all have computers and keyboards. You could type. Also, you could record yourself. I have my Les Brown microphone here, the fake microphone. You could record yourself. You don't even have to write with a pen and paper. You could just turn on your phone and you could start recording whatever you're saying. So that's something that we all have. We all have these things. We all have anything that we want to do with regard to getting the ideas out of our head and onto the paper or onto the computer or onto taping, whatever it is. Just start with writing ideas and then listen back to them. And if it's something that, maybe that's not it. Maybe, maybe instead of doing funny things, maybe I should be doing heartwarming things or whatever. If you get started with what you have and what you know, then it could lead you to something else that you know. It's just like I think Buddha said the longest journey starts with one step. You have to take the first step. That's the thing. You got to take the first step. Let's say you want to do painting. Let's say you're thinking you're an artist. Here you go. Here you go. Paints and a paintbrush. You know how much this was? This was like, I don't know, $10. I think Annette, you might have bought this for me. And this is a fancy schmancy one. And these are not fancy schmancy. This one's a little fancy. This one's like, 99 cents. So, get something like that and get some paper and just start painting. You can do whatever you want. If you want to be a painter, just start with what you have. I guarantee there's something in your house right now that you can start with and start working on something that you feel strongly about, painting, writing, something creative. Being creative is when you're using your brain the most optimally. They do all these studies in MIT or Cornell where they put electrodes on people's brains and they see how the brain responds to different things. So apparently when you're being creative is one of the most efficient and highly energized uses of your brain. So be creative. I got the microphone in my hand because you could also, some people want to sing. Some people are singers. Now I sing in the shower because I'm drowned out by the water, so that helps a lot. And also the echo. The echo sounds good. But you know what? One of my guilty pleasures is to watch American Idol and X Factor and stuff like that. And these are people that, their passion is to sing. A lot of them are singers. And, where did they start out? Did they just show up at the auditions first time and just start singing? No. They practiced in their shower. They practiced in front of other people. They're singing in their car. I'm not going to make it there. I'm not going to make it to X Factor. But, there are comedians there that start doing, comedy shows. My brother Steven, he started doing an open mic. He always wanted to do stand-up comedy. It was something he felt strongly about. And he went to an open mic thing where he could just get up there and do 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. And he just started with what he knew. He wrote down some jokes and he just went and started up. And, and then now he's written one-man plays. He's done, and people find screenplays or whatever. He did The Life of Groucho Marx. Now he's doing something called The Retirement Village People. Him and a guy are are writing parodies of songs for like people that are retired, that they're not retired, but it's a joke. But here's the thing, he just started with what he had. It starts with an idea that you have in your head, and then you just make it into something. Also, I've said this before, if you have an idea that you like and you want to bring it to life, do make a t-shirt out of it. I'm going to show you my Happy Lawyer pillow that I made. Sorry, I thought it was right here next to me, but it's not. But it is now. Here you go. Happy Lawyer pillow. My trademark smiling scales of justice that I love. And guess what? It's here all the time. So I get to look at it. I'm trying not to lean on it. I'm trying not to, have breakfast next to it because I'm afraid I'm going to, get it dirty. But if there's something that you have in your mind, even just go on Photoshop or, any of those other art things that are on the computer and just make a logo for yourself or write the name of your business out and hang it up on the wall. Anything that gets you started, because, there's so much stuff that we can all do right now to just take one step. That's all you really have to do. And it's so easy to talk yourself out of it. It's so easy to say, well, that's a waste of time. Nobody's going to be interested in, my painting or my singing or my cooking or whatever I have to say. But if you're interested in it, then start with that. It doesn't matter. Like Les Brand says, if you're not syndicated in bookstores all over the world, or if you're not on, Channel 5 at 6 o'clock after, Judge Judy, it doesn't matter. You can just help the people that are around you. You can just affect the people that are, the closest to you. You can just do something for yourself. You don't even have to do it for the benefit of other people. Just do something for yourself. Figure out what your passion is. Figure out what your dream is. And we're always our own worst critics. A lot of people can say, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that. And again, Abraham Maslow, my favorite, be independent of the good opinion of other people. I don't really listen to what other people say, but that doesn't mean that I'm not listening to myself also. And myself says, oh, you can't do it. You can't do it. It's too big of a project. It's going to take too much time. And then it's like, well, if you haven't done it yet, then why bother starting now? There's like a million reasons and excuses that you could make for yourself to not do something that you want to do. And yet there are a lot of people that just go out there and just start up, singing. Just go to the American Idol guys. They just go to the audition. How embarrassing is that? Not embarrassing. It's embarrassing if you do a lousy job. But how much nerve does it take to get out in front of like Simon Cowell and the judges in a room full of 3,000 people and just start singing? And I give those people credit, and that's the kind of stuff that I like to look at because it inspires me. It inspires me to see these people that are just throwing caution to the wind and saying, this is it. This is what I have to offer. Hello again. Sorry, I forgot to put my Do Not Disturb button on. And it never ceases to amaze me. So, yeah. Hi, Ginny. How are you? Do what, Ginny, here you go. Ginny and Charlie and Ginny Caputo. These are people that I grew up with. I guess we did grow up together. I grew up from like age 1 or 2 until now. And they were already, my parents' age and adults then. But it doesn't matter how old you are. If you have something that you want to do, you can start up any time and start doing something. There are people that, start something new in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It's amazing the things that I see people doing, even people that get married when they're in their 90s, to their high school sweetheart. They meet up again when they're 92 and they decide to get married. So it's something that it's specific to individual people. It's whatever you want to do. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't say, oh yeah, well, it's easy for the American Idol guys to go out there because they're only like 16 years old or 22 years old and they got their whole lives ahead of them to make mistakes or, start over. Because we all have opportunities to do that, and you never know. And like I said, if it's something that doesn't have to be syndicated, you don't have to be what's his name, the Facebook guy. That's another thing. Facebook. You can do anything on Facebook. You can do anything on YouTube. There are people that you can go on YouTube and say, "How do I, change a light bulb? How do I? What did I do the other day? How do I clean out my dryer vent?" I had to clean out my dryer vent because it was clogged, seemingly. And so I just went on YouTube and I was like, how to clean out my dryer vent. And there are guys that are just dryer guys, and they put on videos how to clean out your dryer vents, and they walk you through it. And there was like about 10 different videos of how to clean your dryer vent. So everybody knows how to do something. And we all have phones that record. And you can do this, you could do a recording over and over and over until you get it right. And then you could just post it. Just post it on YouTube. Everybody can have a YouTube channel. It's something that, it's accessible to everybody now. Just like this pen and paper to start writing your book. Just like this paper and the pen that's here. Just like the pen and paper or the keyboard. It's accessible to everybody. And now with the use of phones, Facebook is accessible, YouTube is accessible, all of this stuff is accessible. And it could be something that you just do for yourself. I see people that just go on and show pictures of their garden. Forget it. You could just go. And then you see like, oh, subscribe to this channel if you want to find out more about how to plant whatever, how to take care of roses or clematis or whatever your garden is. I mean, I'm a gardener only for about the last 10 years maybe. I reinvented myself because I always wanted to be a gardener. I always wanted to have flowers. And guess what? I'm not that good. I'm not that good at it. But I learned about it. I researched it. That's something else. There's so much information out there. If there's something that you think, I'd like to be a gardener, I'd like to have flowers, but I don't know the first thing about it, just go on YouTube. What is the first thing about gardening? And you'll find out. Or how to prune a particular plant. And so then you go on and you see this woman and they're like, oh, hi, today I'm going to show you how to prune a rose bush, And then at the end she goes, subscribe to find out more if you like this, And I like the ones that are like a minute and a half. I don't like the ones that take 30 minutes to tell you all about every rose under the sun and then how to, cut them. I just like the one that says, here, go to, anything that's above, five leaves, you cut off, because the roses have 3 leaves and then 5 leaves. You cut off in between those. And if don't cut past 5 leaves, you cut after 3 leaves, and then it grows and sprouts a new bud. So I didn't know that. I had to learn that. So here she is going, yeah, subscribe to this channel. And you look down, and she's got 3,000 subscribers. And I'm like, who the hell is this woman? Excuse my language. Who the heck is this lady? Nobody knows who she is. She's like Janet the gardener. And she's got 3,000 people that subscribe. And that means that whenever she puts a new video up, they automatically get notified of it. And they go and check it out. And then as a result of that, maybe she gets some Miracle Grow wants to put an ad on her page or something. Maybe you have to have 10,000 subscribers by then. I don't know. But the point is, she didn't start out with 3,000 subscribers. She started out with a rose bush and a desire to talk about rose bushes and a phone that could record it, or a better camera than a phone. Whatever she had, that's what she started with. And that's my point. Just look around. See what you have at your disposal right now. And I guarantee you there's something that you have that can start you doing something just for fun. Just do it for fun. Ginny and Charlie, maybe you guys are good dancers. Maybe you guys know how to do the Lindy. You guys could set up a camera on a tripod and play some music, and you could videotape yourself dancing. And you know what? You could put that up on YouTube, or you could put it up you could go to a local dance studio. You could become dancers in your neighborhood. You could start teaching dancing. This is my point, is if your passion is dancing, if you guys love to dance, you could just start doing that right now, tonight. Any one of us could start doing something tonight, even just thinking about something. But then the more important thing is to turn it into something concrete, turn it into something that you can look at. This pad is actually from my Spring Inspirational seminar that I made up. Oh, it's probably backwards. But anyway, I did, and it's dianathehappylawyer.com. I did a Spring Inspirational seminar. I just got this idea that I wanted to do like a live show where I was doing inspirational speaking, and then I had 5 other people, in between. I would get up again and say a little bit, and then somebody else would get up and tell an inspirational story that they had. And I just got this idea in my head, and then all of a sudden I made a phone call. I said to some of my friend Wendy, I want you to be on my, Spring Inspirational. And she said, yeah, sounds great. And I called my brother Steven and I said, I want you to be on the Spring Inspirational. He was like, oh, when is it? And I said, I don't know. I don't know when it is. I just thought of it now. I was snowed in on a Sunday. It was one of those, it was a couple of years ago now, snowed in on a weekend in January. And I just got this idea in my head. It just popped in. And I made phone calls. And before I knew it, I was talking to people about who wanted to be and thinking about 5 people that I wanted to have on the show. And then I contacted the theater, a local theater where my friend Pat is. And, it's a small theater in Wantaw, but you know what? It was a good size because it wasn't like, here's the point. I didn't try and fill, Nassau Coliseum. I tried to fill a place that had 40 seats, and it worked out great. But it was something that was just one step at a time. It just started with a thought, an idea that I had, something I wanted to do and felt strongly about it. Then I made a phone call. Then I started writing stuff down. And that's when after that, I got to the idea about, wanting to do the seminar. And then it occurred to me that lawyers really need, a lot of motivation and inspiration because they're very overworked and upset and, stressed out. Stress is something. I was thinking about stress today. A lot of people are stressed out. I have so much stress. And you know what? Stress is not a thing. Stress is not something that, that's on the shelf in the store, in aisle 12. Stress is not something that you can put in a package and bring in your house and put in the refrigerator. Stress is a reaction that you have to a series of events or an event. So we talk about stress like it's a thing, but it's not a thing. It's only your reaction to something, and you can control your reaction. And I'm not saying that there aren't difficult things in life that you have to deal with, work, bills, whatever, kids, illness. There are things in life that are difficult, but there's always going to be a way to deal with them. And if you deal with them calmly, this is where meditation also helps to keep your brain calm. Deal with things calmly and as best as you can, logically, one step at a time, instead of trying to take on the whole thing at once. Then you won't have stress. You won't have as much stress. You'll have less stress. It won't be as stressful, because the stress happens when we are trying to do a lot of things. We're trying to get the end of a project. We're trying to get the end of a problem, to figure out how to fix something right away. And nothing ever happens like that. Like, I could put myself under a lot of stress and I'm going to write my seminar this weekend. It's not going to happen this weekend. But I can start by doing, the titles, or looking at all of the stuff that I have written already and try and, coordinate it. So we stress ourselves out. The stress comes when we're putting ourselves in a position where we feel like there's nothing else that we can do. We got our back up to the wall. But that's always something that we do to ourselves. So don't buy into the idea that stress is something that you have to have, that you can't avoid, because you can avoid it. Even if it's a very difficult situation, a health issue, if you go one step at a time and calmly deal with it. And this is the difference between reacting and responding to problems or situations or things that you have to deal with. So this is like how you react to a guy that cuts you off in traffic. Where did you get your license? New Jersey? We always think the bad drivers are from New Jersey. Where'd you get your license? Out of a cereal box? That's what my dad used to say. Where'd you get your license? Out of a cereal box? My dad never Never made fun of people from New Jersey, but I hear that a lot. Go back to Jersey, you moron. They always seem to have Jersey plates. Maybe that's where that comes from. But a guy cuts you off in traffic and you want to freak out because that makes it stressful. But if a guy cuts you off in traffic and instead of reacting, if you respond and go, okay, there you go, cut me off. All right, whatever. So what? Now he's one car ahead of me. It doesn't matter. He's not going to really get any place faster. Last week there was a guy that he almost hit me twice. He actually literally, cars were lined up at the red light. He went around like into oncoming traffic to get in front to be the first one in the red light, And I saw him and I'm like, where's a cop when you need him? So I thought, wow, what a jerk. And then after that, he was weaving in and out of traffic and he almost hit me. But here's the funny thing. I ended up ahead of him, like he's stressing out. He's reacting to the traffic by doing something really stupid and almost getting into an accident, and I'm just responding by going, look at that moron. Oh well, maybe he's got, maybe he's going to a hospital because there's an emergency, and I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But then later on, because there was 3 lanes of traffic, and I happen to know that the right lane is the faster lane in this particular area, and he took the left lane, which a lot of people think the left lane's faster, and I know that's the slow lane. So I ended up ahead of him, and of course I got a little chuckle out of it because I was like, ha 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 ha, ha. There's that guy that was breaking the law just to get ahead of everybody else, and he's behind me now. And I watched him, and he still tried to weave in and out of traffic. And he tried to go. It was 2 lanes. I was in one lane and there was a lane next. He tried to come in between the 2 lanes, like to make a 3rd lane where there was no room. And I had to honk. But I didn't react. I just was like, whatever. You know what? In the end, by the time we got to the Van Wyck Expressway, I was still ahead of him. And after all of that, all of his reacting and driving badly, putting himself under all of that stress, and me just responding, and just going, all right, whatever. He's a bad driver. He's a crazy driver. Maybe he's got issues. I'm not going to let him upset me. I'm not going to scream in traffic. I'm not going to, because you see a lot of people too, they'll see a bad driver who's driving badly, and then they'll like try and cut them off. Like, oh, you're not going to get in front of me again. And then now you have 2 people that are acting badly in situations that they're bringing on stress themselves, because guess what? Whether you're driving like a maniac or you're driving in the same lane of traffic till you get to the next light, pretty much everybody's going to end up at the light together. All those cars, me and the 2 crazy drivers, all end up at the same light at the same time, and reacting to traffic and going and stressing out does not help. But responding and just saying, okay, well, whatever. So I don't care. I don't care if he's a crazy nut. Do whatever he wants. So one of the reasons why I'm talking about now is because when we're thinking about the things that we want to do, our dreams and our goals, it's easy to get stressed out because we feel like, oh, I should already be there already. Oh, I'm 40 years old. I already should have done that. I'm 50 years old. I already should have done that. I'm 60 years old. It's too late for me to do that. I'm 70 years old. Why bother? I'm 80 years old. I can't start something new now, And the truth is, you can start something new any time you want, any time of the day. It's almost 8:30 at night. The Sunday night football's coming on. So I'll be shortening my I don't even know what time it is. I never look at the clock. So don't stress out over setting a goal or a dream or a desire that you want to do. Don't make it hard on yourself. Don't add extra pressure that you don't need. Because if you want to write a book, this is all you need. A paper, pad, and a pen. A pen and paper. That's all you need to start writing. Or recipes. Or anything. Start writing stuff down. You got a pen and paper. I keep a pen and paper next to my bed. Because if I wake up in the middle of the night, this is another thing too. Well, if I wake up in the middle of the night and have a good idea, or I dream something and I want to remember it, I'll write it down. If I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking something, I want to write it down. But also sometimes if you're stressing out in the middle of the night and you're waking up and you're feeling stressed out, having that pen and paper next to the bed is good because you can say, all right, I hate my job. And you could just write that out on the pen, on the pad, and get it out of your system. And then you can go back to sleep, or if you just want to wake up and just write, curse words. I hate my boss. I'm not gonna curse. I'm not gonna suggest any curse words that you could write. Hey, Ernie. But I'm gonna just say, keep a pen and paper next to the bed, because it's not only good for amazing, wonderful ideas that occur to you, but it's also good to get out the aggravation that is keeping you awake at night. Something that's making you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. You're staring at the ceiling. If you're going to be staring at the ceiling for 15, 20 minutes or 2 hours, just lean over for that pen and paper and just write out, what's bothering you. Just write out, I don't know how I'm going to make the bills this month. And at least if you write it out, you get it out of your system, and then it's there. It's on paper. You can look at it again in the morning. You could say, okay, this is what I'm going to write. Everything that I hate, everything that's upsetting me, and I'll look at it tomorrow. So that at least now I can go back to sleep. So you definitely want to, keep a pen and paper anywhere. I have lots of pen and paper around the house because I don't know when I'm going to come up with some idea or some, something that occurs to me, a little catchy phrase or something that I just want to write down, or I want to remind myself of something because I'll be like, oh, gee, I should talk about this on my show. And then later I'm like, what was that? Oh, God, I had a great idea about what I wanted to say and I forgot. And so, I end up coming back the next week and saying, oh, by the way, last week I meant to say, Wayne Dyer, don't die with your music still in you. And it happens all the time because nobody's perfect. None of us are going to be perfect, even if you're doing it over and over and over. I see Bob Proctor. I see Les Brown. Les Brown was recently just doing little shows, little 20-minute segments that he's posting on a YouTube channel. And I know his spiel. I know his story. And he said something wrong, And it was one of his classic lines, and he misspoke it. And I thought, wow, that's kind of funny. This is a guy who's been saying the same line for 20 years, and he just said it wrong. But it didn't matter, because he was getting the point across. And he didn't go back and say, wait, that's not what I meant. I meant something else. He just rolled with it. So even people that are going to be, amazing. And, even if you think about the Hollywood actors that are rehearsing and somebody's written a script for them and they know what they want to say, and then so many times you'll see something like, oh, this line, famous lines that were ad-libbed in movies that wasn't written into the script, but the actor just decided to say it because maybe he couldn't remember his other line. One of the lines in Die Hard was when he was in the little, in the vent, and he says, come out to the coast, we'll have a few laughs, get together, have a few laughs. That apparently was an ad-libbed line. So it's one of the best lines in the movie. So here's Bruce Willis, who's trained and rehearsing and has a script and should be doing everything by the numbers, and he forgets a line and he just throws in a different line, and it becomes one of the most famous lines in the movie that people still quote. So nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get it right every time. But the point is, you're trying. You're just getting it out there. You're just giving it all you got. Whatever it is. Start now. Work with what you have. Take one step. And then after that, you'll take another step. And if something different occurs to you, you could veer off course too. That's okay. It's okay to change your mind and say, oh, I put all this effort into this. I've been working on this project for a week or a month or 6 months. But you know what? I'm really not feeling it. I want to change it and do something else. Change it and do something else. My brother did a play that was called Vampires Suck. It was about a vampire who couldn't suck. He had to go to a psychiatrist to figure out why he couldn't, bite people on the neck. And then after he did that, then he turned it into Vampire Sucks the musical. And they wrote some musical numbers and they did it. And it was very funny. And, it was the kind of thing that here he was, something that he wrote and he loved and he cared about, and he did it over and over. But then he wanted to change it, and he changed it into a musical. And it was also very good. And did he do it on Broadway? No, that would have been nice. I think he had something that was off Broadway, but he did it mostly on Long Island Theater. And he loved it. And did 1 million people see it? No. But did, 1,000 people see it? Yeah. And they liked it. And people still ask him about it. When are you going to bring back Vampires Suck? It's Halloween time. Let's do it. So you don't have to have all of the answers now. Don't put stress on yourself to say, oh my God, if I don't know everything that I'm going to do, if I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, I'm not going to get started. So just get started, take one step at a time, and see what happens next. Because that's all anybody's ever doing. Really. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody knows how it's going to turn out at the end. And you don't have to. You don't have to know everything now. If we had to know everything now, nobody would ever get started doing anything. So, do what you know now. And that's what I'm going to suggest for this week. Take the pencil and paper. Write down ideas. Ernie, I know we were talking about you doing decorating. Oh, Marx Brothers. Yeah, did you see the Marx Brothers one? Yeah, the Groucho Marx. Stephen doing Life of Groucho was so great. It was hysterical. I mean, he was literally a young Groucho Marx, and by the end of the show, he aged and he was old Groucho Marx. And it was really, I wish he would do that again because I loved it. I brought a lot of people to it, and that was a good one. But, that started with him writing it down. He wrote it down. And that's what I'm going to ask you guys to do this week. Get out a pencil and paper, write stuff down. Write down what you want to do. And just be positive about it. Don't worry about all the things that are going to get in your way. You don't have enough money. You don't have a good camera. You don't have a stage. You don't have a theater to do it in. Just, write stuff down. I don't know if you guys know who Louise Hay is, but she was a very influential woman. And here's the point. A lot of people don't know who Louise Hay is. Meanwhile, she started this whole thing called Hay House. It was way back in, I think it was the 80s. And she just started something in her living room. She just had 10 or 12 people that came to her house. And she started a group of people that were talking about issues that were going on at the time. And then she ended up she has a massive industry, a massive group of people called Hay House. You can go on hayhouse.com. She actually passed away a couple of years ago. I think she was 90 or 92. And she was such a wonderful woman. If you listen to Louise Hay's affirmations, she's got the greatest affirmations, and she's just recorded on YouTube. Now she didn't even go in front of a camera. She just said them into a microphone. And the picture on the YouTube thing is like a picture of flowers or a picture of mountains. They just changed the backgrounds. And you can just listen to Louise Hay affirmations, Hay, her last name is. And it's just wonderful. And, here she is. Yeah, I'm sure 1 million people know who she is. And I'm sure 10 million people don't know who she is. But she's just super and wonderful. And she didn't have to affect everybody in the world. She didn't have to be as famous as Tony Robbins or, Deepak Chopra or anybody else that, you hear about all the time. But she still had an effect on everybody that was around her that's still resonating, because even after she passed away, Hay House is still something that carries on, and it's just going to go on. It's just really, that's amazing if you think about it, that her effect on the world is going to go on for generations, even though she's not here. And millions of people don't even know who she is. But any one of us can do that. Any one of us can be that person, be somebody that affects people around you, whether it's gardening or doing YouTube videos on plumbing or cleaning your dryer vent or painting your house, painting a mural on your wall, whatever it is, helping with dog rescue, whatever it is. You don't have to be super famous. You just have to do your best. So this week, get a pen and paper, write out what you want to do, and let me know. Let me know some of the ideas that you guys want to do. And if anybody wants to reach out to me one-on-one, if you want to send me an instant message or whatever saying, hey, Diana, I have an idea, but I really don't know how to start up, or what do you think I should do? I may have an idea for you how to get started, or even just talking about it. You may come up with ideas yourself just by talking to somebody else and saying, how would you start? And that's the thing. That's what Les Brown says. You don't know how to get started? Just say, when he gets stuck in a situation and I don't know what to do next about this situation, he says, but if you did know what to do, Les, what would it be? And it opens his mind to new ideas, new things, new options that he could do. Cats knocking stuff around. So when you run into a roadblock and you're up against the wall and you don't know what to do next, just say to yourself, but if I did know what to do, what would that be? And something might pop into your head and you might be able to figure out a next step in your project. So that's all I'm going to say for now. My cats are obviously hungry because they're starting to rip stuff apart over there. They want my attention. They know what to do. To get my attention, they start knocking stuff off the counter and start ripping stuff up. So I'm going to go pay attention to them. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful week. The weather's going to be fabulous. This is exactly my favorite. This was some of my favorite time of the year, this weather. It was an amazing beach day today. I spent like 2 hours walking on the beach. It was just amazing. So I will see you all next week, same time, 8 o'clock on Sunday. And until then, I love you all. And love is all you need. Thank you. Bye. Bye.